Welcome back to Drunk Confessions. I'm one of your hosts, Mio, Big Mio. You know the spiel. I'm a mischievous, independent asshole.
I'm your other host, Gabe Emerald, also known as Father Larry, also known as Big Dog. Welcome back to Drunk Confessions, ladies and gentlemen.
Up until now, Gabe and I have brought on guests who love to party in Toronto, stay out to the wee hours of the morning, and just be their unapologetic, extroverted selves. But we've acknowledged that not everybody is like us. So today we are going to be learning about how to do life in your 20s a little bit differently. To talk about it, we are welcoming extreme book connoisseur and YouTuber Uncarley
Hi.
and talented digital artist and blacksmith Chris Dywanski.
Oh,
Welcome
stop.
to the show, both of you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
Thank
show,
you.
guys. Oh my god.
Dude, I'm so
We're-
happy to be here.
Yeah, it's
I'm
really
ready to
Happy as
go.
we're here.
So let's get into the episode. It's a tradition here on Drunk Confessions to do intro now all together to make it an experience for all of us.
Okay.
So I'm going to say intro and you guys are going to say now with me. Okay?
All right, I'm ready.
Intro.
Now.
Now.
Intro.
Now.
Now.
We'll try that. We'll try it
Okay,
again.
yeah,
We'll
we'll
try it
loop
again.
back
Okay,
around.
ready?
We'll loop back
Just
around.
guessing.
Yeah,
I thought you were just guessing when you were going
Let's
to say
do
it.
it back.
I'm ready
Do it
now.
again.
All right,
Let's do it
I got to stretch.
Okay.
Hold on.
Come on.
My
Chris,
diaphragm.
Just stretch it.
Okay, good. Breathing well. Okay. Intro.
Now.
Now.
Okay, that was pretty good. That sounds good on my end.
All
That sounded pretty
right.
good.
Who the fuck is Larry?
You know, when Gabe and I were still in high school, we were always excited to like grow up and go downtown and day drink and do all this shit.
Mhm.
But I guess we're wondering, and this is kind of why we have both of you on the podcast. Did that happen for you? Did you grow up in a small town or even grow up in Toronto and were like, I can't wait to drink legally. I can't wait to go out until fucking 4 a.m. Like, was that a goal for you ever?
I'll start because we grew up in the same town, so like
Mhm.
sentimentalities were pretty similar. I don't know if that was ever really something I actively had in mind. I think it was something that I expected because it's just like this thing you hear about and you see in movies and you see in TV shows and all that garbage. But like, it was something I expected, and I think I very quickly learned that that's not what I wanted. Like
Right.
that was just like, yeah, well, you're in high school, you're fucking partying every weekend, and just like no, that never happened. Like I was not the most like I was social, but I didn't like vibe with like the popular kids, so I didn't get invited to anything. I was very much a nerd. Like I was the arts kid. I did visual art. I did drama. Like I was just hanging out with my friends, like playing video games. That's what we did.
Right.
So it was like very quickly I realized I'm like, oh, you have to be friends with these people to go party at their house. And I'm
Right.
like, and I don't want to be friends with them. So and why would they want to be friends with me? So like, it was just this thing that like, yeah, I would very much rather just like hang out in my buddy's basement, like drinking beers at like the age of like 14, playing
That's the
video
right
games
age.
together. Yeah, like grade 10, you got to start like bright and
You gotta
early.
start
you know?
early, yeah.
Yeah.
Carly, what about
Yes.
you?
I grew up in America. I grew up
Oh,
like
no
right outside.
way.
Yeah, I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, but it's like right outside
Cool.
Washington, D.C.
Cool.
So I think my parents and I moved to Mississauga when I was 16. So I remember being excited that the Canadian drinking age was 19 because it's 21 in the States. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
Mhm.
So
And then, but I think that also like lowered the stakes for me. I was like, oh, it's because that's also just how it should be. Like it should be 18, like in Manitoba, like because it
Yeah.
makes
Or in
kids so
Quebec,
much,
yeah.
like it makes it so much
100%.
lower stakes, and nobody's like binge drinking up their asshole at 16 because it's like easy to get, and it like lowered the stakes, I think, in a good way. So I definitely like wanted to go out partying but I think I very quickly realized that like I really hated it. Certain aspects of it. Like I identify with what Chris said, where it was like I was also like a drama kid. I did vibe with a lot of the popular kids, like kind of in like the jester way. I do comedy, so it was very much like I'm funny and they liked me and I liked them and it was chill. So I would go to parties and stuff. And I love a house party. I love a bar. Oh my God. I want to go to a house party so bad right now.
Me too.
And then when I went to Ryerson, there's like such a club scene, like with King Street, and I hate clubs. It makes me
Jesus Christ.
I know.
No, dude, same though. Like,
I'm offended.
So I definitely learned there was like a learning curve in terms of being like, there's middle ground there. You can still like to hang out and drink and be social and, you know, but be like, oh, I'd much rather do it at like a bar with friends, or I'd much rather do it at a house party or that kind of thing. And that like you can exist in the middle ground, I think was what I kind of learned.
That's so interesting though, because I think in high school, the FOMO aspect,
Totally.
for those who don't know, fear of missing out. The FOMO aspect in high school is very apparent. It's very evident. It's every single day. If you were not at the party last night, who the fuck are you? But in post is it post high school? What's it called?
Post-secondary?
Post-secondary.
In post-secondary. Sorry, my brain's
No, you said that and I was like, I
really putting that post-secondary like education in there.
Yeah. Like we've all graduated from high school, by the way. We just don't know what it's called.
So like when you're in university or college and you're not in like Western, Queens, Laurier, like you're not at one of those like dorm schools, I find FOMO like even worse because it doesn't just affect the next day. It kind of affects your whole experience of that. Because if you're not going to the clubs with everybody, let's say in your program, you don't know anybody in your program. Nobody really talks during class. Like, especially for Ryerson, it's such a commuter school.
Ryerson is a fucking weird social, like it's very much like that. I totally agree.
And 70% of the school is commuter. And then like you can take it even a step further for those who don't go to post-grad or post-secondary. Like what do they do? How do they
join a pyramid scheme.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, like
they start telling Arbonne on their Instagram story.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a fucking dick here, but Chris, you know, I hung out with like all these kids in high school, like, like everyone that I used to hang out with, like it's kind of like a Snapchat streak. He sends me a photo of him, I send me a photo of myself. Like,
it's like you're alive, I'm alive. Good, cool,
good.
Yeah,
there we go.
I found like, because I do agree that especially going to Ryerson, I felt really socially isolated that first year because it's such a different like landscape. Like in high school, I was like, okay, like I know these people are having parties, so like I talk to them and I hang around them. You get invited to the parties, and then you know everyone and you talk, and it's great. Like that's what it is. It's kind of easy to navigate that if you can like think about it that way. Like you can, right? And then you get into university, and it's just like, oh my God, like these people know each other. Like the groups of people that know each other. I don't know how they know each other.
So speaking of commuter schools, first year I went to York.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
rough time. So my program, it was a Bachelor of Design because I thought that I wanted to get into graphic design. Big mistake. It was joint with York U and Sheridan College. I did a year there and then I dropped out because I was like, this fucking sucks, dude. Like there was something about like having to deal with like your instructors that are like subjectively telling you like, I don't like this, you should do this better. I hated that the instructor personally hated what I was doing, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. Who are you to tell me that this is not good because you don't like it?
They're like giving you notes on stuff that you're like, what gives you the right to even, it's not right or wrong. It's not fucking math.
Exactly. I'm like, it's purely subjective. Anyway, so I dropped out, but before I did, it was very much like I carried over that mentality of like, I don't really want to party, but like there's like, you know, Western and Guelph, like those are all like party schools. Like I see all these people I knew in high school and they're posting like Instagram stories of these like huge house parties and, you know, during fucking like homecoming and stuff. And they're out all like packed like sheep, like 500 of them in a road. And I'm like, what part of that seems enjoyable? You know, like I don't want to be like fucking sardines with somebody outside, you know?
For you, Chris, was it more like you saw it and knew you didn't want to be a part of it? Or was it like, I've experienced this already and I hate it? Which one was it for you?
It was a bit of both, honestly. Like, it was like I already had my bias from high school that I'm like, that doesn't seem enjoyable to me. And then there was obviously the other side of the coin of I'm like, I'm in university now. Like, is that something I'm supposed to be doing? And then it was that fear of missing out. I'm like, should I be partying every weekend? Like, and meeting people? Like, what the fuck else am I supposed to be doing? I did frosh and I met a lot of friends through that. But when it came to like, we're in classes and like on the weekends, what are we doing? It was very much like, I just like go to like, you know, the pub that was like on campus with like a couple friends, if that, you know, it was never a house party. It was always like, we're just a bunch of us are drinking together because we got literally nothing else to do.
I think that like growing up in like, let's say Canada, you're like, okay, 19, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit the bar, I'm gonna hit a legal drink, I might go gamble, I might do whatever I want. But after you experience it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, like I guess that's cool. I don't think I've grown out of it, but like I feel like, okay, I've done this multiple times to the point where it's like I'm spending my money on a $7 beer and I'm paying $12 for it. It's just kind of like not worth it.
Especially if you drink before it too. Like you build
100%.
up the whole like, I'm turning 19. What am I doing for my 19th birthday? And it's like fun, but then you're like, it's the same shit I've been doing since I was like 16 or 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not different.
I started drinking way younger. Like I started drinking at
10
13.
parties. Come on.
No, I started drinking at 13. And so
how old are we in grade 9? That's like 13.
14. That's 14.
14. Yeah.
14? I don't think I started drinking till like sometime in grade 10, but like it's not that much after, you know. It's like that like, you know, small town where we grew up, like that's, you just start drinking early because like you kind of you have ways to do it. So,
you know, everybody in their 20s has a common denominator of hanging out with people, and I think it's drinking. Would you agree with that? Because I think drinking more than sex, more than drugs, more than just knowing that you'll be with somebody else, drinking is always the catalyst, I'd say, that enhances that experience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Totally. Especially if you're like, I can sometimes get nervous, like especially like talking in such a big group or talking with new people because you want to be like that best version of yourself. And if you drink, it's bad. It's not a good thing. But it makes you a better version of yourself because you're not nervous and also you're not worried about what other people are thinking about you because everybody's fucking drunk. Like nobody's noticing anything. It's an excuse to do something. Like if, you know, me and Chris, if we don't know each other, but like we want to hang out, if I go like, you want to get lunch? It's like, okay, it's a little
like, is that a date?
Exactly. As if you're like, let's go get some drinks. It's like so casual. It's a reason to hang out, but it's so easy. It doesn't come with like any connotation of like weird in a way. Like, let's get coffee. You're like, okay, you want to fuck? Like, what's going on? Like,
oh, geez, eh?
I don't know if I agree with you in the sense it makes you a better version of yourself. I think it makes you a different version of yourself, and that's a whole other thing. But it's like it removes your inhibitions, right?
Totally.
Like that barrier that you have in your mind of just like, oh fuck, I don't know these people. It's just like, well, yeah, I had a couple beers, like fuck it, let's be best friends with these people. You know, it's like it happens very quickly. Yeah, it's like it's the catalyst for sure of like, okay, well, I don't really know these people, but we're gonna have some beers, or we're gonna have some drinks, whatever. It's like that's just inherently part of it. It's part of the culture of it, right?
Yeah, completely. Because, you know, even Carly was saying before, you know, at this point, or when the pandemic first occurred, everybody was drinking. It's just what we did to pass the time because it was fucking nothing
nothing else to do.
You have nothing else to do. And also, we all thought it was going to be like a month too. So you're like, I don't have to worry about building a life. I can.
Oh, dude, I had cases of beer ordered to my house because I'm just like, I'm not going anywhere.
Fucking gin drips or whatever the fuck they're called. What are they called?
COVID started when we were 20.
Dude, don't remind me. We don't have to talk about that.
I know, it's so shit. Like, it's so shit that I look like this when they tell me.
but like, you know, I'm like, if I live till I'm 80, like it's a couple of years, man. Like I really don't care at the end of the day.
But
Like,
that's so like I feel like that feeds into the point that we're trying to make today. Because I
yeah,
feel like people whose whole personality is I'm in my 20s. I'm trying to fuck as many people as I can right now. I'm the hottest I'll ever be. Like you don't give a flying fuck about that. I'm sure Carly doesn't either. Just because you guys
No.
have different pastimes. Like you don't think that right now you're in your prime and it's wasting away. Like sure, physically, like we'll never be able to run up a
Totally.
hill as
I'll
great
never
as we
be.
can
Yeah,
right now.
exactly.
oh dude, I'm
But
so out of
like
shape.
other
I'm
than
so out of shape.
that,
We don't have to.
but other than that, like there's no real worry. Your time is
No.
not running out as quickly as you think, right? So like tell me about the thought process of you getting there. Like let's say there is like a macho
pee, I'll
like
be back.
Chad listening right now and he's like
Hi, Chad.
hi Chad, and he's like, but what am I supposed to do? Like my 20s are going away and it's the best time of my life. Like how am I supposed to, you know, what do you mean I can't fuck people right now? I'm gonna get COVID. Like these are the best years of my life.
If I get COVID, I get COVID, man.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
fuck it, I don't give a fuck. Like, yeah. So like what would your advice to be to have Chad to rationalize that and like justify it to himself that it's gonna be okay?
Fuck, man, that's
That's a
hard.
good question.
Yeah, that's
Thank
like,
you so much. I was a journalism student.
yeah.
Yeah, wow, that J school life is really popping out. I think when talking about like your prime or feeling like time's running out, I do feel that, but I don't feel it in terms of like I'll never be as hot as I am. I need to fuck as many people as possible. I feel it in terms of like career. I feel like I'm getting less of it now, but I always felt a really big push and want to be like one of those people that are like incredibly successful by like 25. So I'm having to unlearn that because it's just like also we're in COVID, like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
But I think if, you know, the opposite, I guess the kind of POV that I have and the kind of POV we're trying to talk about here on the podcast is like life can be well-rounded. Like I think you can use your time to the best, to like your best ability. You can, you know, live while you're young and, you know, really like use your time wisely, but you can also like invest in your life because like Chris said, like I mean God forbid, but like usually you will, unless something happens, live a very long life. So it would, you know, you can also invest your time into like doing other things that make you happy. Like what makes you happy besides Chad, like what makes you happy besides like going out and drinking
Chad,
and having
talk to me
sex?
here. What makes
Like
you
I'm
happy?
sure you have hobbies. Like do you like to
Yeah.
garden, Chad? Like there's, you know, life is so much more.
Chris, what's your take on that?
I would say like, dude, like reevaluate your priorities, man. Like,
Chris is
like,
coming in with that tough love.
yeah, it's this weird like balance that you need to find where it's like COVID's the perfect time to work on yourself, which I have been like that's something I've actively been doing because like what the fuck else are you gonna do? Or at least from my perspective, what else
And
am
you're
I gonna
spending
do?
so much time with yourself too.
Exactly. And like, and at the same time, it's like, yeah, I can't help but feel, yeah, I guess like this is my prime. I don't feel like I'm in it. I still feel like I'm 16. But my priority has never been like I want to fuck as many people as possible and I want to go partying every night. Like that has never been a priority for me. But at the same time, like kind of touching on like, you know, I watched Carly's girl boss video as well. I'm like that like grind hustle culture, like fuck that, dude. No, like you can't do that every day. You can't do that to yourself. Like you can't like it's demoralizing. It's dehumanizing to just expect yourself to work that hard every fucking day. And like I'm a busy person. I have stuff going on every day that I'm working on, but it's like I take time for myself and I find that balance.
When you're this age, it's so easy, and I'm sure Gabe's feeling it as well, to over exploit yourself. Because for the
That's
first
you,
little
though,
while, sure, you know, and then for an extended period of time, it's like you're gonna get so burnt out, especially in the creative industries as well.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I didn't get a lot of self-confidence until like this year. That was like that's like when it arrived for me. So I was just like, damn, like I looked in the mirror, I'm like, damn, dude, all right, you're doing all right. So to me, that mentality,
you're doing great.
I think so too.
Oh, guys,
I always
stop,
thought you were
please.
doing good.
Like, even like middle school was like the worst time for me. I got bullied so bad in middle school. Like, I honestly, most of it is just blocked out of my memory now due to trauma. Like, that's just, it's just gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
regress.
Oh, sorry, repress.
Repress.
And
Yeah,
regress. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
am
that's
16.
just gone out of my brain now
Yeah,
because I did
I
so
truly
much
am.
embarrassing shit. And I was really bullied for a lot of it. And the funny thing is that I was bullied for a lot of it because I was such an emotional kid that like I got
Interesting.
so worked over things that people would like almost make fun of me for it. Like, why the fuck do you care? I'm like, well, obviously I care. Why wouldn't I care? And that part of it honestly carried over into high school. I cared a lot about a lot of stuff, and I was always very in touch with like my emotions. Like, I understood, like, or at least I would try to understand why I was experiencing something. And I think that's part of the reason I never resonated with like the party crowd is, to me, like as an outsider, that always looked to me as if people were running away from their problems. Like, let's go drink as kids. Like, let's go like party to, like, till the fucking crack of dawn. Let's go hook up with as many people as possible. Because to me, that seemed like, oh, you guys are just avoiding something. And for a lot of people, I'm sure that that's true. Like, I drink to avoid shit now, but like I recognize that really early on. And that's part of the reason why I didn't really resonate with that crowd, is because I very much to myself, I was like, I wanted to just figure out why I was upset about something. I wanted to figure out why I was like invested in something. And that was important to me.
You know, we're mature now. We know we're mature. We know that
Yes.
we're dealing with our feelings. But during the time when you, let's say, weren't invited or didn't want to go, did you ever feel like you were missing out? And I feel like you guys have differing opinions on this.
Like FOMO,
Let's start with Carly. Like, did you ever feel like either in high school or with Ryerson, like, did you ever feel like you were missing out? Something was happening and you're like, fuck, why am I not there?
Like, more so at Ryerson. High school was fine for the most part because I went to a very small high school. There's like 100 people in my grade, so there wasn't a lot of like invite only stuff. Like, it was like everybody can come. But Ryerson definitely, just because it was like I didn't even really know how to go about it, and that was back when I was just starting to do comedy, and I had making a lot of friends that were a little older, but I thought that was kind of weird still. So I was kind of like, oh, I'm in between these two worlds, and I did feel very left out because when we were talking about those like homecoming and like Guelph and all that shit, you like see on Instagram and all this stuff like, oh, this is like what everyone else seems to be doing. So how do I do that? Like, Ryerson doesn't have that. It's not as easy as like, it's like, because it is such a commuter school. Like, you can't just be like, the only thing I fucking knew about making friends in university like was from like TV. It's like your friends on your dorm or whatever. And I lived in Neil Wysick. I don't know if you know it. Shout out. It's literally the scariest place on earth. It's a co-op next to the Harveys. Hooker Harveys. Yes.
Yes.
Rent is like $300 a month.
No,
you have 5 roommates. Yeah, you have like 5 roommates.
No, that's what I call a deal, man.
Yeah, my one roommate had 2 cats, not allowed. My other roommate never saw once. Third roommate was a coke dealer, and my fourth roommate was the scariest girl I've ever met in my life. Was like terrifying. It was literally like fucking one of those movies where like I'd be washing my face in the bathroom and I'd come up and she'd be like right behind me, like I was terrified.
Oh God.
Yeah, like that wasn't like, you can't like make friends that way. Like, it wasn't as, because it's a commuter school, it's just not as cut and dry. So it's a lot harder to do, and I think it's also a lot harder because there's so much pressure in university to like, this is when you're going to find your crowd and the people that you're going to be friends with for life. 100%. And that's so much pressure. Because you're like, I don't know. yeah, exactly. 100%. You're like, I don't know who is good. Like, there's a lot of pressure when you're like, okay, these are going to be my friends for life, I guess, according to media, which like isn't true, but it puts a lot of pressure on it.
But to a degree, like, you know, university for me, I barely talk to those people anymore. But for when I went to college for my blacksmithing program, those people are some of the best friends that I've made, because it was literally like the 16 of us in our one class. Every day except for weekends, we're in the same like shop together. We're all working together, so we were able to hang out a lot. And so like those people are like my family now. But that pressure of like people expect like that expectation that you have of like, I'm going into university and I'm going to be friends with these people forever. Like, it's just, you don't know the kind of people you're going to meet. That's just not like that might just not happen for you, right?
And all of my friends now I have like maybe 2 friends from Ryerson like that I talk to every day, like, and other than that, everybody that I talk to, like my partner, my like very best friends in the world, I met outside of school completely. Like it feels very similar to what you're talking about with that blacksmithing program. Like I met them through doing comedy, and that's like it's like that shared interest. Like you're seeing everybody constantly. Like my best friend Meredith, we're in a sketch duo. So before the pandemic, now we don't see each other all the time, but like before the pandemic, you were like seeing each other like 3 or 4 times a week. Like, and that's like a connecting. You see them a lot, and you can hang out with them.
I also feel like as you get older, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, but it's like your types of friends change. Like I have different groups of friends. Like I have, my one friend, literally I've made one friend from Ryerson.
Yeah.
But there's also work friends that I've had from serving that I'm like, I don't tell you guys what I do day to day, but I would tell you if I killed somebody. Like
totally.
Like,
you walk into work and you're like, let me tell you what happened last night.
Like if I got so mad. Blood, like they would be the people I would go to, just because like there's
a unique relationship.
Because I don't have to like be someone. Right?
Exactly.
Those barriers aren't there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're spending bare time with them. Like it's literally so much time with your coworkers.
Yeah, you're in the fucking deep end with them day in, day out.
And they see you at your worst.
If you're on TikTok, you've probably seen it. It was a viral video. Not saying that there are not a bunch of other viral videos, but there's one that it was a kindergarten class or like a play school or something like that. And a teacher got these scores being like, hey, these 3 kids did the best on the test out of your whole class. And then the next year, though they had the same teacher, those kids, and the same 3 were still on top. However, the initial test was fake. Those 3 kids didn't even do the best. But because the teacher knew and thought that they were the best, they were enhanced in their education.
Yeah, that's why that gifted kid shit pisses me off deeply.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me so mad. You meet people who are like 21, 22. You are like either in the world working, probably graduating university, either now or soon, and they're like, and that gifted kid burnout, and I'm like, shut up, like shut up, like I get it. I'm sure it's real. I'm not trying to invalidate somebody's personal experience, but like, can you tell I've almost been canceled on the internet like 6 times, and I'm like walking it back. I'm like walking it back because I one time said something mean about Harry Styles, and the One Direction. I'm not on TikTok anymore because I got tagged in hate TikToks about me.
Oh no!
Oh whatever, dude.
I know.
Harry Styles, he's a cool guy whenever he's doing his thing. But like fucking overrated.
Back,
come on.
Yeah.
We have a whole episode coming out about cancel culture and
so
how fucking stupid it is.
It's fucking stupid.
But it's like complaining about being a gifted kid is like complaining about the fact that you had it easier. Like you're complaining, being like, oh, it sucks that teachers believed in me, that I was told I was better than everyone from a young age. You're basically saying, you know what's fucked? I was told from a young age I was better than everyone, and then I got into the real world and realized I'm actually not. Like, who cares? Like, that's what you're saying.
You know, we all from, let's say, grade 2 or 3 were like, I like painting or I like talking.
Totally.
And then ever since, all of the adults around us were like, hey, you said you liked that one. Let's nurture that. And so
you said it one time, now let's make it your entire thing.
Yeah, so now you're a YouTuber. I'm fucking podcasting. You're a digital artist. Gabe's in construction. It's like from a young age, we were like, I like to build things. They're like, yeah, you fucking do. Let's see how far we can take you with that. That's gonna be what you do forever. It's nuts. It blows my mind.
Crazy, though? You know what's crazy? Like in my mind, like, okay, sure, I'm a construction worker, but like, you never know what's gonna happen in the future. You never know.
Totally.
Dude, standardized testing and fucking education, gross.
Remember
let's get rid of it. Dude, EQAO can go fuck itself.
Ontario, you mean?
Yes, we love
it.
Dude,
I literally almost like, I think it was grade 5 that you do it once, or was it grade 3?
3, 6, and 9, I think.
3, 6, 9.
Grade 3, I nearly pissed myself during the fucking test.
No!
And I was like doing the test, and I was just like, dude, I really have to fucking pee. Can I go to the bathroom? And he's like, no. And I'm like, dude, I'm like this close. And like I had to like bargain with him to go to the bathroom because I was like, dude, I gotta go. I don't think anything ended up happening, but it was like it was like threat level midnight. I was that close to almost piss myself in the fucking plastic chair.
Yeah, that's
like,
really bad.
Like writing math questions.
I remember being confused on a question. I'm like, can you help me? And she came over, and then I remember she told me the wrong answer.
That's so mean.
She told me the wrong fucking answer.
Both
I'm
of them.
like, you asshole. I hope she rolls her ankle. What a bitch. Oh my God, it makes me sick.
Guys,
Yes.
we've gone to that point of drunk confessions where you guys have to confess to Mr. Father Larry. So,
bless him.
You guys both did it at the same time. Whoever wants to go first, you guys must say, "Forgive me, Father Larry, I have sinned," and then tell me.
I have sinned.
For I have sinned.
So I have from anywhere, anytime, with any.
Chris, I've seen you do some bad things, bro.
Sorry, hold on. I need to make it look like I'm in confession.
Yes, please do.
Forgive me, Father Larry, for I have sinned.
He's in character.
Yeah, sorry. I need a moment to fall into character.
Okay.
I think this was like the 11th grade. So this was at my one buddy's house, who like he was always the one who was hosting the parties. Like anytime that it was drama kids, that's where we were going. So his basement was known for like that's where you go to like do the frisky stuff, you know.
Oh, come on, man.
And this was I mean, a couple of you guys are gonna know this was my ex at the time. Earlier in the party, somebody was like, "Dude, she thinks you're cute," and I was just like, "What?" Like this is like grade 11 Chris. Like nobody had ever thought I was attractive before, so I was like, "Fucking
hell yeah!" As far as you know, Chris.
And so I was like, "Okay, well, I got to capitalize on that." And so we at some point we had gone out onto the lawn. I ended up kissing her, and we like made out for a while, and then we were like, "Let's go inside. Let's go to the basement." So like we're like nobody's gonna find us in here. God, like. It's a hallway. It's a closet, basically. No one's gonna find us in here. And I think we were in there for like I want to say at least 30 to 40 minutes.
What did you do?
Heavy petting
right there. 40 minutes, bro. That's my guy right there.
We did like some hand stuff.
Okay. Those were the days when. Remember when hand stuff was like a thing? Like, it was like a big deal.
Go ahead.
Do you remember when hand stuff was romantic?
You're sounding fucking mint right now.
Yeah.
And I was so drunk that literally nothing was happening.
Of course.
Like
that's classic.
Yeah. Like classic. Yeah, like Whiskey Richard just all up in there.
Yeah, that sucks.
And like I was just like, well, I feel bad because like literally nothing's happening. Like, you know, it's like when you're fucking like pulling on a chainsaw to get it started and it just won't go. Like just nothing's happening.
Oh my god, dude! What a visual fucking.
And
that's a visual if I've ever heard one.
And so I was just like, well, I feel bad. Like I'll like reciprocate because like because you know it's a two-way street. And she was like, no.
Girl boss energy.
Yeah, like I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like, "What the fuck do you mean?"
That's
I guess
insane. I love it. It's so insane.
And then somebody ended up like walking in on us, and I'm just like fucking like trying to like get my pants back on, like, and then we're just like, well, I guess that's it. And then the ending of the drunk confession is that like a couple days later, I texted her and I was like, "So what are we?"
What are we? That's
Come
so
on,
sweet.
Chris. Come on, Chris.
That is the most high school shit ever.
Hey,
come on, Chris.
Cheers.
My guy's a champion. Carly.
Mine's a little different. Forgive me, Father Larry, for I have sinned. When this was in second year, maybe. And I was just seeing my boyfriend, my now boyfriend, but at this point we were still kind of just like in the beginning, like very exciting, but like also very much in that time when you're like, this is the best me. I'm literally perfect. I am awesome. You know, like I'm so cool. I actually don't fart. Like it's crazy. Like that's like the vibe. We were staying over and he lived with 2 roommates at the time. And they had 1 bathroom, and he was in the bathroom showering. And it was like after we had like come home from drinking, and it was like some kind of like big party, and we'd come home together. And he had said, "I love you," and I was like, "Yes, awesome, feeling good." And he went to shower, and I read, and this is so stupid. at the time that I didn't really want to get hungover, but I was drinking a lot at the time. So I read that for every like shot of alcohol you drink, if you drink a glass of water, the next day you won't wake up hungover, which is insane. Which is like, it's not worth it. Why are you drinking that much water? It's
That's not science. That's just a suggestion. Like
exactly. So I was pissing constantly, and he was in the shower, and he was taking so long in the shower, and I had to pee so bad. I was in his room. I finished an empty Gatorade bottle I had found under his bed. I squatted and I pissed in the empty Gatorade bottle. I then closed it, and he didn't have a screen on his window, and I emptied it out the second floor onto the street, and then just recycled the bottle. And then he came back in, and I was like, "Hey,
I'm doing great."
I was like on the bed, like, "Hey."
Like nothing ever happened.
Guys,
Yeah.
But why did you just go pee in the bathroom? Like where
he was in the bathroom showering.
So
The toilet's free. The toilet's free,
honestly,
dude.
yo,
I know, in my drunk head, I'm like, no way.
I can't go in there.
I can't go in
There's
there.
somebody else in there.
I
There's
would
someone
have
else in
right
there.
in the shower and pissed
Oh
right
my
on his
god.
leg.
Literally, like, either go in the bathroom, or I'm sure it wasn't that bad. I'm sure it wasn't as bad as the actions that came from it.
Oh my god.
is he just
Amazing.
looking at you like squint eye, just like, is that Carly pissing? They're like, nah, it can't
Yeah,
be.
he's
You're
ruining
like,
it.
no,
Yeah.
that's her pissing.
Yeah.
You're like,
That can't be Gatorade.
So
Were
you
you, like,
actually look
mad?
stupid.
Where are the
Who the
electrolytes?
fuck pisses on the steps?
I didn't know
Who's
Gatorade
talking
had a lemon flavor.
Yeah.
Are you guys kidding me?
This
That's so
Gatorade's sour.
irresponsible. Get a
Yeah, this is
Gatorade
so-
bottle. Come
yeah.
on, don't make me throw up.
Yeah, exactly. This is disgusting. Have some dignity. Do it in a bottle.
This Gatorade's expired. Okay.
Yeah, this Gatorade tastes rank.
What's your boyfriend's name?
Reese.
Reese, did you see this fucking Gatorade flavor? What the fuck is this?
It's like yellow, but it's like musty yellow. It's
Dude,
not
it's
like
like sour lemon
Not
flavor.
yellow.
What the fuck?
yeah,
We're never shopping at Freshco again.
yeah, exactly.
Oh my god. Okay, guys, we're gonna cut it off
Great.
here. Thank you so much for coming on to Drunk Confessions, both Uncarley and Chris Dywanski. We're so happy to have
Thank you.
you. This was
Thank
so
you guys
having
so
us.
much.
This
Thank
was a
you so
blast,
much.
man.
Yes,
Dude, I had so much
iconic.
fun.
Well, you can listen to this podcast anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Watch the full episode on YouTube at Drunk Confessions. And if you want to be just like these two degenerates and leave us an anonymous confession, go to drunkconfessionspodcast.com. Both of you, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye, everyone.
Guys,
Adios.